Oh, yeah, I'm definitely off. Wait, it says I'm streaming. OBS, what? Oh, there it is. Okay, I am live. The app just like freaked out for a second. That was weird. Oh, the app is still freaking out. Huh. It's very strange. That's very strange. Oh, I'm live. I'm live again. Okay, cool. All right. Oh, it's because I changed my DNS thing. But I'm still going. So I think it's okay. I'm not sure if that counted as two separate streams or what, but I don't really know what I'm doing still. Okay, let me just pick something here. Tropical chilled house. That sounds like it could be okay. Let's listen to this. Yeah, it's all right. This is okay, I guess. I'll probably just play this. Yeah, this is probably fine. This is unminus on SoundCloud, and there's no ads, so that's why you should use it for your background music. All right, what was I doing? Oh yes. Okay, so last time I've made a ton of progress. Like I've done a bunch of stuff. Like, so before I was here, right? In fact, I've moved on to like a whole different thing. Before I was doing let me see. Let me pull up this font size. There we go. Before I was doing this. Before I was doing I was having trouble, right, with this here, let me just show you it. So I have this before, right? I was having trouble with this before and after thing. I could not get the I couldn't get this to work. I couldn't get set to work. I couldn't get it to set the symbol, right? Like I was like, oh, it has to be a macro, right? If I wanted to pass it a symbol, right? So yeah, I don't know if I should always be tweeting that I'm streaming. I'm not gonna tweet this time. Let's see what happens. But yeah, oh sweet. My pull request just got merged. Sweet. Yes, nice. It's like I'm a C hacker now. I know C now. Oh, look at how. Oh no. Is this how it's supposed to be? Like, just like offset like this? Interesting. Alright, anyway, so I was having trouble, right? I was like, how do I pass a symbol that is not defined, right? That's the key, is not defined to a macro, right? Because I tried it in the REPL, right, in the console. Here, let's see, this, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see it. Def macro, like, let's just do like test macro, right? Oh yeah, I'm also wearing a beanie because it's cold. Because I'm cold. I've been cold all day, so I'm wearing a beanie. All right. So this is test macro, right? X. So then we'll just like return it, right? So you pass test macro, and you pass it hello, and then it returns hello, right? But if you pass test macro, Y, unknown symbol Y, right? That was my problem. So I think I just needed to go all out, right? I needed to find a way to do it. So this is my dirty hack for this. I don't even think, honestly, I don't even think it does need to be a macro because I'm passing a symbol. Actually, does it? Let's try it. Let's see. Defn test fn xx, right? Let's do var global x nil, and then let's just pass back nil. So it'll always be nil, right? Always nil. Oh, see? Yeah, unknown symbol. So it does actually work, right? But the trick is to set a global variable, which, I mean, I know how it sounds, okay? I know how a global variable sounds. It doesn't sound good, Okay, it sounds bad, but it turns out it doesn't matter. It does not matter at all, right? Especially when you're doing everything in one file, right? Globals don't matter. So yeah, this is a mutable global variable that I'm setting, and then when I run it again, right? Like as a not a macro, right? I'm doing it. This is at function time, right? This one's at compile time. This one's at. Let me just make sure this is working. Okay, yeah. Okay. This one's at function time, right? So this gets called twice. Actually, technically, yeah, it gets called twice. So the first time it gets called is at compile time, and at compile time it does this, and then it prints this to the thing, right? So I think at first it is nil, right? So like the first time it gets defined, and then I think it does get redefined again. So in like before, right? So if you look at the before macro, which is also a macro, there's a lot of macros. This is the most macro heavy thing I think I've ever done. So I'm really trying to take advantage of the macros. Yeah, I mean, yes. So I also, so in the before here, right? It gets run again here in this beautiful this beautiful variable. This is just a bunch of forms that get what do you call this? Like splatted, right? Ruby has splat. It's kind of like a splat. This semicolon, and then this is at function time. So, and when this function gets called, it gets called. That macro gets called again, right? That macro yeah. Okay, where was it? It's back somewhere. There it is. Yeah, so this macro gets called again, right? And then it gets set to the correct value, right, at runtime. So here it gets set to this whatever's in this params, right? Which is crazy because the params comes from this macro. Yeah, it's really crazy. I've been going crazy. So let me just, so this all works, right? So this is pretty slick. So you put Osprey in there. You can add headers to the response, right? So in this case, I want to return. Actually, let me just start with this one. This one's easier. Okay, so you can import this, right? Or you can use it, and then I have JSON here, and this is a JSON API, right? So the first thing I want to do is I want to store all my little demo thing here in an array, and then I want to return application JSON as the content type, right? So add header is really for the response. Like why would you add a header to the request? Who cares? The request is coming from the browser or whatever. So this is when there is, so this happens before everything. That's what the star means. It means any request, doesn't matter what it is. Technically, you could leave that off, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so here, when there is a body, I want to update the request. So this is cool. This is actually working, which I think I was having trouble before, right? I was having trouble like getting these symbols to be recognized, like without any function arguments or anything. So that's pretty cool. So this body comes from that macro, right? That before macro. Here it is. I destructured the request in the macro, right? So like it's like I'm just printing this code before the other code, right? Before this function code that I'm writing here. so I can pretty much define any symbols I want, and then I can just call them just out of nowhere. Because I mean, it seems like it's out of nowhere, but it's right here, right? So like if I macro expanded this, I would see that let. So everything is in that let. It's really cool. Like, yeah, I don't know if I could do that in other language. I'm sure I could do it in other languages, but I don't know if it's that easy. Anyway, so yeah, so when body, I update the request and I decode JSON. Okay, so then before any of the URLs with the ID parameter in them, so star means anything after to do slash, I parse the number right from the ID, because you don't have to do this normally because there is a database usually, but this is an array and you need indices as integers. So that's why I use scan number, which is enchanted. If you don't know, that's how you parse numbers out of strings. Yeah, and then after any request, I JSON encode the response, right? Pretty straightforward. So this is cool because just like Sinatra, everything is before and after. This is, you're just, when you do before, you are calling this add before function, and it's just an array with a before fn's array, right? Let me get back to that. And then you're putting in whatever the URI was, which is like this, wildcard URI, and then the body of the function, right? Or the body of all the forms you want to run, right? All the forms that will be eval'd, I guess. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's going pretty well. Like I'm definitely moving way faster even than I was with Joy, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. So then this is just how you get. So this I think this was working before. So get right, and on the homepage, return status up. So this is a Janet dictionary, struct. This is a Janet struct with a keyword and a string. But since after every request, right, JSON encode response gets called, and then the after is a little different because whatever returns from after is what gets returned to the client. So there you go. And then so this is very similar to a Sinatra, right? Which is, let me show you Sinatra. Let me see. I don't have a cool website, but you know, what are you gonna do? Maybe I'll come up with something. Yeah. Oh, this is weird. For some reason, it's not showing the little Sinatra guy in the background. That's interesting. Yeah. So yeah, it's very similar, right? Get, right, do, end. There's no do end, right? Because it's all, this is it. The parens are do end. So yeah, this is it's pretty cool. It's pretty straightforward, I feel like. And then this is when you post to-dos. I just push the to-dos I just push whatever you send into the array. And then this is patch to-dos ID. So this is when it gets a little different because this is a route parameter, and it seems like if you just looked at this code, you'd be like, oh yeah, ID, any route parameter that you define is automatically like bound to the current. No, that's not how it works. I guess I could, but no, remember I said it back here. I said set ID, scan number. So all those are actually in params, right? So params ID. Yeah. And then I can probably get rid of that. And then I remove to-dos by ID, and then the server starts. That's it. That's all. How many lines is that, right? Including comments, right? This is crazy. This, let's see. How many route? So all of it is 21 lines. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do anything except for like add things to an array, but you can imagine, like, you know, you're gonna do, you know, something. Well, I'm gonna get to that in a second, but yeah, you'll have database things going. Here, I'll show you how it works. So let's see. I'm not sure if I had this work. I don't think I did. So let's see. We'll get rid of that. Curl localhost. Okay, so see how I said that returns JSON, right? Content type application JSON. Also, there's no requirement to have to have kebab case and also Pascal case header response. You don't need that, right? Like it just so happens that it does happen, but yeah, that doesn't matter. You can just do whatever and it's fine. So yeah, that's JSON, right? And then we can do to-dos, and then that's just the empty array because there are no to-dos, right? So then you can pass it. Oh, I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if you can see this, because that's like really low on the. Oh yeah, you can't even see what I'm doing. Here, let me do this the other way around. Okay, JSON API. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay, so anyway, so this is the home page thing. Here, let me change this. I wish I could change this right now, like without having to do anything extra. Like I wish I could just update it, right? Window. All right, whatever. Hopefully you can see that, but yeah. So that's that, and then to-dos is an empty JSON array, and then you can pass it the post, right, which was here, and it'll append whatever you pass it, right, to the body, right. So we'll just pass in. I think it's data. Is it data, or is it just -d? I don't know. We'll find out together. So if I pass it like name, hello world, right? There it is. It keeps appending, right? And then if I do curl localhost 1001 to-dos, there it is, right? It's stored in because the thing's still running. It's in memory, and then you can update one, patch, and then you can pass in. We'll update the first one to do 0, and then you could do, whatever, right? I think, what did I do here? I said merge, so it should append a. Here, let's just do a 1, right? There it is. Yeah, nice. So then, yeah, you can also delete, right? So x delete. Let's delete like how many are there? There's 5, so let's just delete the last one. Delete that. Delete that. Oh, you can't delete that because it's out of bounds. That doesn't matter. So you can delete that third one, second, first, and then you're left with 1. So yeah, pretty cool. That's how it works. So yeah, it all works pretty well. I'm kind of surprised that it came together so quickly. I'm not sure if that's because I just do too much web like stuff in this exact area so that I can throw these things together, or if it's Janet. I can't tell. I can't tell which one. But yeah, sounds pretty cool. So now I'm kind of like, oh, okay, the JSON API is good, right? Which I'm gonna commit that real quick. Let's just commit that. There we go. Let's see, update JSON API. Cool. I should say example. There we go. There it is. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And yes, these are all good changes that I'm making. Okay, so the HTML one's very similar, but in this case, I have to form encode things and form decode things. So for the before, there's more, it's like more involved because I decided to make it like a little, almost like a half functional like to-do list. Here, I'll just show you what it looks like. Okay, let me see. So I can actually show you that in the browser. Oh, I'm doing the JSON API still. Okay, it'd be nice if I did what I said I was gonna do. There we go. Oh, unknown symbol HTML doc. Oh, that's right. I had just changed that. Okay. Actually, I'll just do it so you can see it. I'm like switching really fast. There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. Okay. Okay, so this is Welcome to Osprey, right? No styles whatsoever, which I will get to the style. I'm super excited about this. I had this idea today. Actually, I didn't have an idea. I got some inspiration. But yeah, so here you can see the slash coming through because that's the URL you're at, and it says slash to-dos here. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. So then this says, actually, let me just, I'll just keep that open because I like to see the stuff. So go home, right? View to-do. So you can do a new to-do, and you can say test, save, and then it shows it kind of very ugly. It's very ugly. It's hilariously ugly. Hopefully you can see that. I zoomed in a little bit. But yeah, it's terrible. So then you can also edit, right? And you can like save it as done. It says test is done. Here we go, right there. Okay, so that's, it's kind of involved, but this is the rundown, right? So the first thing is, since I was doing checkboxes and there's no database, I'm also doing IDs and there's no database because I'm like doing the editing, right? So I had it before. I had it like the JSON one where I was doing an array, but since in the UI you can like delete out of order. I mean, this happens too in the JSON one, but I don't care about the JSON one. So this one is a little bit more involved because I have to do some naive coercion, right? On the form, the form body, the string, whatever. It's just a string with the ampersands and crap and equal signs. Okay, so this is each pair. It stands for each pair. So when the body's a dictionary, so not null, essentially. Output, I keep this here and I'm just looping through each key value pair in the form, and I'm checking, right? So then I'm going to put it in the output, right, with the K. I have to use put in for everything because the one downside to having all this cool get stuff is that get is a core Janet function, and I have to use get in and put in for everything, even if there's only one key. So that's like one major downside to that. Okay, so yeah, this so a false string, I coerce to false, true to true. And then I just check if it's a number, if it's a numeric string essentially, which can be done with a peg. Hey, so yeah, just any number of digits that's not empty. If that is a thing, then scan it because it's, it's a number, or I know it's a number. Otherwise, just return the actual value. So that happens after. So here's the before, right? So this is like, we're kind of getting into middleware a little bit, but I'm operating straight on the request, and there's no like ring, like higher level functions or whatever that was. This is just a list of functions that will get called, right? So both of these before things are just forms that are gonna get evaled. There's like no boilerplate whatsoever. It's fast, like it's less typing. Okay, so the first thing is form decode, and I mean, yeah, form decode's not super interesting, but yeah. So the first thing is to replace all the pluses with %20s, escape those, and then yeah, I actually do escape everything. Like if you're thinking, oh, he's only escaped, I could just send him some terrible things, but no, I'm escaping everything. So here it says unescape, right? Unescape. Yes. So I mean, assuming that you send me escaped things, I mean I'm unescaping things. And then I do coerce on the body and params because it just so happens that makes sense. And then so that's it for the request, right? That's like the pre-processing for the request. Then when there are params on any to-dos with ID parameters, which there should be because they're the only ones that have a slash after it, but whatever. So yeah, this set the ID again, and then set the to-do. Get the to-do from the to-dos dictionary, right? So then after all the post-processing, right? After anything, if it's a dictionary response, it's probably a redirect. Otherwise, encode the response in HTML and slap like a layout kind of. It's just like HTML, doc type, get rid of quirks mode, a little title, right? And put the response in a body, right? In the body tag for HTML. So yeah, that's what you saw there. Welcome to Osprey, right? And then there was a link. And then here's what happens when you go to to-dos. It lists all the to-dos, and that's what you saw there with the ugliness. And then you can edit them, you can delete them with this form, which this is pretty cool. You just pass it the route URL and a dictionary, right? So ID 1 or whatever, but that's just what to-do is. And here is a little annoying because it's a dictionary, so I had to get the values out and then sort them by ID, but that's okay. And then, so this is, I never even saw that page, but it's probably fine. And then here's the to-dos, right, for the form, which actually technically does not work. What I should have done is add in a hidden thing with a value of false and a value of true, which I don't need to, because it'll just go to a string anyway. It's similar to what I did here, right? That's why the edit page works. Yeah. Oh, I'm also getting away from the Rails routing. Like, you know, Rails code routing is like patch to-dos or whatever, right? It's like patch to-dos would be it, right? With an ID. And then for the new form, it would be like get to-dos new, which is confusing. And then delete would be like delete to-dos ID. There's a few reasons why that sucks. Mostly because you have to send a hidden input with the verbs that you want. It's so terrible. So for me, I just was like, well, why don't you just append it with the action, right? /update /delete, right? Then you don't, and it's just post. Then you don't have to do a hidden input. And I mean, you still need CSRF, which I haven't added yet, but I'm getting to it. So yeah, that it works. It's actually working. I almost can't believe it. I'm not really like a macro person, so the fact that this is working is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, other than some security things which are bad, you know, like CSR protection. Other than that, and sessions. Other than that, it's working pretty well. Let me commit this real quick. What was I doing? Oh yeah, it was examples HTML. Sometimes I use the UI. Sometimes I use the. I have to get rid of that. That's a good thing I didn't get rid of that. I should have just looked for patch. Patch. Oh, did I already get rid of it? Oh, I did. Oh yeah, I did. Let me see. Oh my gosh, I should just use the UI. Wow, it takes forever. Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I should probably just scope it to source. There we go. Okay. Sure. Okay. What else? Yeah, so where I'm at now is I saw this. Oh, you know what? Let me get this. I was gonna get this net. Okay, it went away. It's probably gonna fly right back in my face. I went to, or I was reading Hacker News like I always am, which I should stop reading. Like, I don't know why I keep reading Hacker News. I really should stop. It's bad. What was it called? Oh, just Tailwind. It was like, I love Tailwind or something. Let me see. Oh, why I love Tailwind. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this was pretty cool. I didn't really put this together before. Like, I was working on a thing called Gust, and it was like purge CSS, but that's really sort of low level from where you can be. Like so blah blah blah, the problems. Yes, it doesn't include all the variants, blah 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 blah, right? So this thing called twin macro, it has a TW prop, right, for JSX, which is really complex. I mean, by the time you're already in JSX, like you've gone down like the NPM rabbit hole, and yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, but this is really cool because well, like the idea of it, right? So you store all used classes for a React component in this macro thing, this prop, and then it extracts all the Tailwind the CSS, not just the classes, right? It actually like just takes just the bit of CSS that it needs. It does some other things too, but it's not super important. So it takes just the CSS that it needs for that component, and then obviously you have a bunch of components on the page. But I like it, right? I love this idea of taking the CSS out of Tailwind, right? Yes, that's exactly what I was doing before. But yeah, so for this, it's just interesting though, because yeah, so it takes this CSS and then it puts it in the style tag. So it doesn't just leave it in like a style on the HTML element. And I was thinking, oh, like anyone can do this. Like you don't need that, right? Like you don't need any of that. So I was thinking, oh yeah, sweet, I'll just do that too. So I came up with this. This is a variable scoped to whatever file it's in, module or whatever. And there's tw/class, right? And so the way it works is you call tw/class with a string of classes, right? So just like you would say class here, right? You just do like a string of classes. Oh my god, I'm pretty tired. This can be a short one because I'm an old man and I'm very tired. Okay, so maybe I'm just putting myself to sleep. Maybe this isn't very interesting. It's time for me to switch to AR, you know? Okay, so this class thing, the first thing it does is it takes the string, or if it's a symbol, right, it evals it, and then it puts it in the classes, but keyed by the URL, right? So if you don't type in a URL, it's just a blank string, and that counts as it's like global, right? It's like it's going to be across everything. So it's not as like cool as that, because like there's no component thing or any like really there's no like concept of components, but there is a page, right? So this is the home page, and so you just say tw class link, and you give it the URL or the route URL, right? So for this, you give it /todos, right? And if it was /todos ID, you would give it /todo ID. And then in the style of the layout, you just call tw style, which gets all the classes that were in there, right? It makes them pre-pens a period, and then it joins them all together, right? And then so after that, I'd actually have to reach into Tailwind, which I already did that before, so I've already done that. That's gonna be nothing because I've already done it. I have a peg that just takes out classes out of a minified CSS file. Yeah, and then puts the media queries where they're supposed to be and whatever. I did it all already. That was the hard part. So this is the easy part. So then you just call tw style with the route URI that got matched, and that's how it goes. That's it. Now in your style tag, you're gonna have a bunch of Tailwind classes, just what you need, right? You don't even need, and this happens, it's a macro, right? So this happens at compile time. So you can have the full Tailwind file that's like 10 megs or whatever with all the variants and everything, no problem, because this happens right at startup, right? When the interpreter runs over your code, that's when it happens. So yeah, like that's why I had to pass the route URL thing instead of doing it at runtime. At runtime, it would be a little cleaner, but not really. So then how do you do reuse, right? Like this link here is the same. I want it to be the same looking as this link here. So I just pull it out into a def. I just def it, right? Now it's the same. That's all it takes. There's nothing else you need to do. That's it. You just call that wherever you want to make things the same. That's it. And I mean, if you don't like that it's a href, you could just make it a function, right? And you could just say tw whatever class link, right? Boom. And then this also still happens at compile time, right? So it doesn't matter, right? And then you could say, href, whatever, right? Href, whatever you want to do, right? You want custom things, functions to represent your HTML? That's fine. You can. Yeah. So this is pretty cool. Yeah. And so that pretty much solves my Tailwind problems that I was having. Before I was taking all the classes across the whole thing, generating like a minified CSS file and then using that. But why, right? This guy spelt it out, right? I'm not like really thinking about this ever, but yeah, CSS.js automatically extracts the critical CSS for the page and inlines it into a style tag. That means the first paint will always be faster, right? So yes, that's exactly right. I mean, one thing that you could no, it doesn't even matter. Like it's all stored in memory in the program, right? You don't even need any files. You only need the big, like massive minified Tailwind CSS file, but you don't even check that in, right? To source control. You just actually, do you check it into source control? Oh, you might need it on production. Yeah, but you can just copy that over. I mean, you can check it in. I guess it doesn't matter. What's a 6 meg file? Whatever. Just check it in. So yeah, just check that in. And then when you deploy, right, and you start it up on the server, it is going to do the same thing. It's going to go through all these classes, join them all up, and then when you start going places in your thing, this function is going to get called. And it's going to just have all the styles and all the CSS that you need right there for the page. It's like, man, I mean, I can't believe I didn't do this before. Well, I didn't even think about it. So yeah, like he talks about it. That means the first paint will always be faster, as it saved both an extra network request for the CSS file, as well as sending less CSS code to the client. While the time to interactive for small apps will be slightly slower, as the JavaScript bundle includes the CSS. Well, I don't have that problem, right? Once your app grows, the network request for the larger CSS file can outweigh any blah, 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 blah. Oh, geez. Wow, then that really came up to me. It was like really going crazy. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, that didn't even take very long either. I mean, I'll probably keep working on this outside of the stream. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna work, right? I already made the peg to pull out the CSS classes and the CSS itself. So yeah, no problems. Let's see, what else was I working on? Oh yeah, so database stuff. I like what Lapis does. Lapis does this thing. I really like Lapis. I want to like Lapis. I actually tried it out, but it was kind of difficult. Like I had Vagrant running, and then I had like a bunch of stuff, right? Like I had the MoonScript thing, compiling the Lua to MoonScript. I do like MoonScript and I do like Lapis. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, let's see. So what was I doing? Oh yeah. So I like what Lapis does with the models, right? So it says, require model, and then you give it a model thing. Or let's look at the MoonScript one, it's better. So class users extends model, and then you can do user select, where age, blah, 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 blah. Users find. There's probably a better reference manual. Let's go to models. There we go. Oh, wait, actually database access? Yeah. Let's see, make any query. So you can do any query, right? But yeah. Oh, they've got some nice stuff. Oh, they've also got DB insert. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's so funny that it's almost the same as what I did before. That's hilarious. Yeah, two hash maps or whatever, dictionaries, whatever. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Oh wow, there's like a bunch of different updates. You know, it's not straightforward. You know. Yeah, DB delete. And then there's models, right? Which I guess I'm moving to now. Yeah. Oh, he's also got DDT stuff too. Interesting. Or DDL or whatever. What is it called? I don't know. Something. Let's see. Query interface. How do I get to models? Oh, it's right here. Yeah. So let's see. Oh, you can set primary key, right? Multiple primary keys, which is interesting. Don't understand that. Okay, so that's multiple. And then so it's got find, right? Find by ID. So Janet is a little less, you know. So this would be like you can call it to-dos or whatever if you wanted. And then you would say find to-dos 1. It's not like the goal is, I don't think, to be like active record. Active record, I think it makes things harder, I think, than it has to. So it's all to-dos. I think it's like at first it seems like, oh, this is a great idea, right? Oh geez, this thing's really but over time I think I think what happens is you wind up just going, well, I'm doing all this stuff on top of SQL. I should just write SQL, right? Like it's not that much of a leap from it's not that much of a leap from like okay, that's nice. User find 1 is nice, but when you get into like user find 1 to-dos, where see, you're already starting to write SQL, right? Created at this, right? Greater than, and then you say 1 day ago. That's pretty cool, right? Don't get me wrong. This bit is nice, 1 day ago, but this is, I mean, it's like from to-dos, and then you just say where to-dos user ID is 1, right? And I mean this. Yeah, I mean, it's not super straightforward. I mean, it's not even shorter, right? Oh, I guess it is once you start doing created at whatever, and then you can just give it the thing, right? But yeah, I mean, you could have easily just done this, right? Like query, right, or something, right? Like you make it short just to try to 1 day ago, right? I mean, it's like and then you actually have more control, right? Because you can say to-dos. And you could join things and do select. I don't know. I mean you could do that too, right? Select or whatever. I don't think that's, you might as well just write SQL. So yeah, I think some of the stuff like user find is good, all right, because that's kind of annoying. You have to do select from to-dos, right? And then to do some stuff like where to-dos and give it like a SQL bit, which is cool. And then you can also do when you find a to-do like that, you can say find to-dos. Yeah, Janet's object orientation isn't it's kind of awkward compared to other algol languages. I think they were built for object orientation. But yeah, so then for here you can say delete to-do, and then you can update it, which I can't do yet, but whatever. All this stuff doesn't work, but it will. And then you could do to do if you give it has one users, right, or has one user, right, Yeah. And then active record does this thing where like has one, many to one. I don't know if I want to say many to one. Yeah, probably just one, right? And then many would be the opposite, right? One users. I guess you could say like one table, right? Like you'd say like table users or something. Then it'd be less awkward, but it doesn't matter. And then to do, you can just say users, and then it'll just give you all the users for that to do, right? So, I mean, it gets a little into it, but I don't feel like there's, and then see, so you can just throw in the rest of the stuff, right? You can say created at whatever, and then obviously Janet needs some kind of something like I did this time at, but I could probably just say time one day ago, right? I could probably do something similar, or I can do that. Yeah, or like dashes maybe, because dots are kind of weird, right? 1 day ago, right? And then, or I can just do 1 day ago, or you could give it like time 2 days ago, right? And then I could like do other things, right? And then it'll just give you the epoch. But anyway, yeah, so you could do something like that, and then actually you could do days, right? Days ago, or you can call it a go, right? You can just start like time 1 day, or you can say time minus 1 day. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, yeah, or you can do let's see here, a past day or something, right? Past 1 day. Or you can say like future 1 day or something. I don't know, it's kind of, yeah. Anyway, I like just time minus 1 day. But anyway, and then you could just throw in stuff here too. You can say like limit 10, order by whatever, right? Created at descending, right? Like you don't really have to do all that. So like the most you'll have is something like to-dos, and then like find one, and then to-dos, right? That'll get you the to-dos for a user or something, right? The user find one, to-dos. I mean, it's pretty readable, right? It's not terrible. I mean, it's very similar, right? It's very similar. Actually, oh man, the active record's way shorter. I wonder what I can do to fix that. I guess I can't, right? There's nothing I can do. Interesting. Because this error really sticks out. I think it's because, actually, why is this so much longer? Is it the arrow? What if I get rid of the arrow? Oh, it's spaces, the dots. Yeah. So, actually, no, that's still pretty. I give it prints. Oh man. Oh, that's really bad. Huh. Whatever. Anyway, it's hard to beat active record. You know, what can you say? For all the crap I talk on it, it's still really productive. Okay, what was I gonna do? Yes. So yeah, this was probably the most I would do. I don't think I would do joins and things like an active record. You would say user find one, joins to-dos or something. You would say user, or like if you wanted to-dos by user, you would say to-do joins. You would say joins users, where you know, whatever to-dos. Now that because you have the scope, created at whatever 1 day ago. Right? I mean, you could do that. I don't know if I want to do that necessarily. I would say to-dos, because then I would have to say join users, where. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, maybe. Because then you have this whole active, that's what they do. They have this RL, right? RL is like this active relation object thing where you keep like stuffing at different points. You keep like stuffing the data that you have. So you would say like, okay, joining users, right? And then what's the table name? And then you're like building it, and then at the end you have to call all. But in Rails, they overrode like they have enumerators, and when you go to, it's like if you assign that to dos, right? You can't. When you do to-dos.each, I think they overloaded that so that it gets evaluated at .each. Or maybe it's built into Ruby. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't really work if you don't have that. So yeah, this is probably as far as I'll go. For joining though, like if I wanted to get all to-dos but also their users, yeah. I mean, what I came up with before was, what did I do? I did something. What did I do? Oh, I had pull, right? I had pull syntax. Actually, I think even in Joy, I did something. What did I do? Let's see. I did something here. Let me see. I did something similar, but like not join. Maybe it was join. I can't remember. Let's look. Database queries. Insert, update, getting row with a join. Oh yeah, this is cool, right? Getting several scoped rows with a join. Yeah. But I think, oh, here it was. I did do joins. Join post. So yeah, this is just straight up. But then I did this terrible join many thing, which like rolls up the one-to-many relationships. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could do something similar, but I almost like this better. I almost like this better than active record. I might just keep what I have and not even do object stuff. I don't know. It seems like it really like complicates things. Like to me, like db from to dos, right? And then what did I do? Oh yeah, and I give it a where, right? I mean, I feel like that's better. Like I don't know why you would like allocate memory for all these for this relationship object. Yeah, I don't know. I would just have it sitting there as a, but it's kind of like a query, but like it's what are the conceptual compression, right? I don't know if I'd really have to stop reading all this crap. I should really focus on making money instead of programming. Conceptual compression. Beginners don't need to know SQL. Yeah, when I started with Rails, I was so confused. I was like, wow, this is really complicated. There's a lot going on, but it's only because I didn't know how to make web applications. But now I know how to make web applications, so I'm like, oh, Rails is made it more complicated. Like for beginners, I think it makes it more complicated to do that than just writing SQL. Like just learning SQL turned out to be much better. I worked at a company. They all they did was they just SQL all the time, just raw SQL. Like there wasn't any. I mean, they did have an ORM, but it was like you wrote SQL, and then the ORM like loaded the SQL. I don't want to get too into the detail. I mean, I'm not under like some kind of NDA or anything. I don't want to get into the specifics of this company, but yeah, it was all SQL, and like there was no like sugar or anything. Like there was no conceptual compression. It's like you go over there and you write that SQL, and then once the SQL's done, then you put it into objects. Yeah, but it taught me a lot. I mean, like, I know SQL very well, like probably more than I need to know it, I guess. Like I'm probably past the point of like, can I make an indie hacker profitability thing? You know, I'm probably way past that point. I should focus more on like sales and marketing and stuff. But yeah, I learned a lot of SQL. All right, what time is it? Oh, 9:30. Jeez, it's already been an hour. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on working on this Tailwind thing, and I'm gonna work on this bit here that currently does not work, but it will work. It'll work. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's similar to Rails again, right? Like everything I do, but hopefully it is better, maybe. I don't know, whatever. It's simpler, I mean, that's for sure. There's no crazy objects or anything. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And hopefully I can get this whole example working. I commented all this code because it doesn't work. But yeah, like it's kind of annoying though to like make a DSL on top of SQL. It's very annoying. I mean, I came up with something for that exact reason. Like I do everything. Sure SQL, right? Just like SQL. Or I don't know how you say it. Yes SQL. You basically just write SQL like I was describing, and then you give it. It's a little nicer, right? Then it really leans on I think Janet. Oh geez, I just moved the camera. I didn't mean to do that. Oh geez. Well, that was bad. Let me see if I can move it back. There we go. Ever so slowly. Okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't really like mean to make it like how it was, but yeah, it leans on Janet's strengths, right? That's what I was saying. So yeah, here you have SQL, and you give it a name. Let me zoom in. You give it a name, right? So in this case, it's a file's SQL user SQL in the SQL folder users.sql, and then you give it a name, right? So in this case, it's create table. You don't even need separate migrations. you could just call SQL code, right, from functions, and then you reference that right here, and then with def queries, right? And then def queries inserts all of those as functions into the current module, right? So you can call it users Janet or whatever you want. And then when you call users, you can call users create table. And yeah, it works for everything, right? Select from users, blah, 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 blah. It's cool. Why would you do this versus just like stored procedures, right? One thing is that you can pass in arrays, and you can even make it so that well, the updates aren't dynamic, right? That's one downside. You have to have the whole all the keys and values, but technically there is a way that you can do it where you can just give it like a question mark or something, and then you don't need that. Like you can make it so that I can make it so that Sure SQL itself doesn't need that stuff. What's cool is it's only 52 lines. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Even with all this stuff, I mean, that's it. Right? That's all it does. Look at that peg. Wow, it's that's something special. Yeah. Also, GitHub dark mode, very dark. It's very dark, darker than most dark modes. I would say. Who's watching this? Oh yeah, Yosef, the main Janet man, the Janet guy. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure about this, but I do want everything to happen in one file, and I would love to mix schema definitions with like model definitions to just really like conceptually compress things down even further. So yeah, I'd also like to see if I could generate migrations from the diff of this, right? So like you like this is like create table, right? But if you add something here, like you know, like you add you know, active or something, right? Null, false, default 0, right? Oh, you can't add defaults with SQLite. But yeah, so it would like make a migrations. It wouldn't make migrations. Make a migration in the DB migrations folder, just like Joy. But it would do an alter table. It would make it for you, because it knows whatever. And then when you deleted one, it would do another alter table. That would be pretty cool. I would like to focus on that because writing migrations is kind of like, I feel like it's the past, you know, like it's almost like, well, what am I doing? Like I'm writing these migrations out. It'd be better if it could just be automatically generated for me. Yeah. Oh, before I go, I saw one other interesting thing, which I don't think I've mentioned yet. Let me see. Let's see if I have it here. Yes, remake. So I had never considered this thing. Oh, look at this video. Are you serious? Yeah, it's basically you put some HTML. Oh, can I get this? Is just like this is so light on information. Get it? Okay. Yeah. So what's cool about this too is that it's a web app framework. But it's all HTML, right? And what's cool about this is you can charge. you can charge money, right? Because it's the hosting is like built in, right? I think the Swift web frame, what was it? Vapor. They tried to do this, right, to like make money from their web framework, but they got rid of their hosting thing, which is sad. Vapor shut down hosting, maybe. Let me see. Vapor Cloud. Yeah. We are sad to. Oh wow, it didn't even. It's gone. Oh, this probably has it. Let's see here. Okay, let me see. Okay, a new type of cloud, performance, efficiency, zero configuration. Yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense though, to have a cloud per web framework. Like Zeit does this, right? And to me, it or Vercel, sorry. Like Vercel makes perfect sense to do this. Look at that, get started for free, right? Pay as you grow, right? $20. Whoa, $20 per team member. Wow, how can they what? That doesn't even make any sense. $20 a month per member for website hosting? Am I crazy? This is web hosting, right? Wow, they really gouge you. But yeah, this makes sense to have one per web framework, right? Because then you don't need to configure anything. All you have to do is you can like click a button, and since you have an application that knows what code it's expecting, you can do all kinds of weird optimizations that you couldn't do otherwise. It's like Apple, right? They can integrate software, they integrate the software and hardware. Well, more like they know what the software loads look like from Mac OS, and so they could make the M1 chip like way faster. So it's similar. Like I think Vapor was maybe they were too. I'm not sure why I shut down. It's interesting. Going forward, concentrating on a framework, new free guides for DigitalOcean and Roku. I mean, it makes sense though to do like hosting for your own framework. It does make sense. But anyway, so this is interesting. So basically, what it is here we go. So you just give it these attributes, right? Like key, to-dos, array, sortable, right? And then it gets a little in the weeds with the mustache templates, but yeah, and then you just give it what you want to put in there, right? And not only that, this thing generate this data, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't think I can actually edit this. Yeah. Oh, click to edit a to-do. Okay. Yeah. So it comes with inline editing, right? All at once, and it has auth and yeah, it's crazy. Like I've never even considered that you would use HTML as your data store thing, but it does make sense. And it makes sense to do it so that when you go to, it's open source too, right? Let me see, where's the, oh, there's the GitHub thing. Yeah, so here it is. So, oh, 328 stars. Wow, look at that. He's not doing too good. I mean, didn't get too many stars from Product Hunt. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know how many people actually want websites anymore. That's the problem, right? I mean, this is very interesting. Oh, this is the remake CLI. Let me see. There's more stars somewhere. No, that's the most stars, right? 328. Wow. Man, yeah, it's tough. It's tough for web people. No one really cares about the web, right? And I don't think they ever did. It was just the best thing there was. But yeah, I really need to get an AR kit. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Yeah, to do. Oh, this is what I was looking at. Let me see. So it has saving. It also does file uploads, which is crazy. All you have to do is, what does it say? Update image. That's it. And then that's all it was. This is a complete file upload application. But you have to run, obviously have to run. So this is a full app right here. You give it this object key, array, sortable, right? Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, obviously you have to run, yeah, install and setup. Rendering data, adding, deploying. Here we go. Remake deploy, okay. Setting up. npx remake creates, run the dev server, right? Oh, so yeah, it's its own server, right? Okay. App in a single file. It's handlebar. Oh, it's handlebars, not mustache. So remake call save function. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you know, there's obviously downsides and stuff, but yeah, I'm all for making things easier. Yeah. So yeah, I'll probably do this. I'm not quite sure how like important this is to me. I mean, it's nice to have everything in one file. So from that perspective, it is kind of important. But yeah, the majority of this is working. I'm especially pretty excited about this Tailwind stuff. So yeah, I'll probably next stream. I'll probably on Thursday. I think I don't think I'm gonna do it on Wednesdays anymore. It was a lot. 3 streams a week, like it's a lot. So yeah, probably on Thursday maybe. I'll probably keep working on this database stuff, and hopefully I can get something working maybe by then. But yeah, I'll definitely have this Tailwind stuff working. I'm in the middle of it. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Talking about web applications and things. Maybe you learned something from my mind to yours. Twin macro, right? If you're doing Node.js things, I love Tailwind. And then, remake, getting some inspiration there for extra HTML elements. But yeah, that's it. That's it for now. Oh, my ugly app is on the screen. All right, let's put that up. There we go. All right, that's it. I'll be back on Thursday. Okay. So yep. Oh, I can't OBS. Come on, OBS. Come on. Let me do the freaking thing. Oh man. Just when you try to end, it just pulls you back in. Okay. All right, now it's done. Okay. I can do it now. All right. That's it. See ya.